And we're just dying. Okay, well, if we're just dying and I'm playtesting for the SCG, it's obviously looking like I'm tilt conceding here. Why did I pick this deck? Metacall, fun call? Metacall. I know, like, people don't really believe in the Lotus Field deck. Like, I think the general perception of modern players is that the Lotus Field deck is a meme. It's actually been putting up some good tournament results lately, and I do think it has a favorable matchup against all of the top decks I expect to see. Murktide, Hammer Time, Living In, Blue-White Control, Omnath, Rhinos. And like, if that's the case, if I'm trying to pick a deck to beat those decks, like, this is kind of easily it. I think it's good against Titan too. Good against Titan too. It is obviously like a higher variance deck too, though. But you know, you do have to kind of run well to win a tournament, anyways. What are your bad matchups? Belcher is really bad. Spell-based combo decks are usually pretty bad. I know that old school Grixis Shadow, I think, was slightly favored for Shadow, although it wasn't terrible. And it got better with March, and it got better with the Luris ban. Glimpse is pretty bad. Blood Moon decks in general are pretty bad, but Blood Moon is definitely on the decline at the moment. Tron is okay. I think Tron's pretty even. Can you close out games quickly with the deck? I can close out games with the clock quickly. Can I close it out with just race quickly? No. Okay, we're playing against Obosh. Chalice on 1 probably is okay against Obosh. Hey, Kodal. How's the mill matchup? Mill matchup is not great. The Nexus of Fate is a dedicated sideboard card, not just for that, but we do have a sideboard card for it at least. Thanks, Sphinx. Got a Professional Facebreaker, new spoiler card. Is this from the same guild as the card that copies your cards, gives them like the it's Mardu Shadow? It's pretty cool. Whenever one or more combat damage creatures you control the damage to a player, create a treasure token. So maybe interesting with Magda. Sacrifice a treasure, exile top card of library, you may play this turn. Dude, you get 2 treasures when you hit them with Ragavan. Oh man. How's the bird matchup? Bird matchup's unfavorable. You do like the fact that this version is playing more chalices helps. If you're playing like the less chalices you play, the worse the matchup gets. But your burn is favored by a good amount. It is. Thank you, Cuddle. Don't be going to time with the stick of the Chalice. I'm not going to. I play very quickly on Magic Online and on paper. I had issues with the Yorion deck, but Yorion deck's a different animal, or that deck is slower to close out games, I think, and there's a lot of fetching in your 80 card deck, too. I think I'll discard the ending because I'm just going to play a second Chalice. I kind of doubt they have a second answer to it, and then if there's a Chalice on 1 and play, the ending probably gets a little worse. Probably going to be, if I don't draw an untapped blue source, I'll probably just Awakening, ditch both Cryptic Commands, and maybe find a Lotus Field. Maybe just ditch 1 Cryptic Command. But finding a Lotus Field to play next turn, sack the Flagstones, ramp to 5 mana is pretty relevant here. Thank you, Red 7. How was Rockin' Pioneer? It was pretty good, I think. We 4-1'd and then O2 dropped. Interesting. Just value Fable. Okay, we just drew Lotus Field. Okay, so I guess I am just gonna draw 1 card with my mana while I have it. I could maybe have put Kaheera in my hand. That may have been a bit better. We get to ramp up to 5 mana, so we could Solitude next turn, just Cryptic. Is a new card I showed now broken? No, it's a 3 mana value creature that you have to have other things going with. There are millions of cards like that in Modern and Pioneer. Just 3 mana fragile creatures that you have to like that have to live to get value in cards. Think you'll get another preview card? I imagine if I don't quit streaming, that I will at some point get another preview card. They discard Path to Exile. Wow. I would hope that someday I get another preview card. Yeah. But I'm not in any rush. I'm okay being previewless for this season. Fury would be a great draw. 3rd Cryptic. Probably gonna tap draw, see what happens. Ever try to make a Yorion version? No, but you definitely shouldn't. This is a really highly synergistic deck. I really don't think this would be a good Yorion deck. Can people explain why people are playing Fable the Mirror Breaker? Yeah, Ari Lax tweeted that it was really good, and I haven't been like it's fine, it's playable. I think it's worse than some other options in most decks though. But the reason people are playing it is because Ari Lax tweeted it was good. Is it smarter reanimator? I think it's just mid-range. Like, they're playing Path to Exile, Kolaghan's Command Inquisition. I don't think any of those are cards you'd play in a reanimator version. Yeah, they do have Obosh. Yeah, so yeah, also no reanimation spells, probably. But they have both Fable and Seasoned Pyromancer in this deck, discarding Inquisition. Good, especially in Gensack. Do you play this over Coco? Okay, they found an ending. Did they really draw ending Thoughtseize? Okay, Inquisition. Inquisition's a lot worse than Thoughtseize here. Spike, why do you keep telling me to play? Oh man. I've got Teferi this turn. I've got to kill their Fable, right? Sorry, I was going right into chatter voice. I can't let them Fable their Seasoned Pyromancer, but going Teferi into Cryptic here seems so strong. Spike, why do you keep telling me? Play Thoughtseize over Inquisition. Could have Winota ever see modern play. We actually played some Winota yesterday. I think we had like we didn't have a great day with it, but like the deck's pretty high variance and really powerful when it goes off. Okay, immediately Obosh is in hand. Top Lamb. Probably not attacking to trade Shaman for 3 damage. Great draw, just any white card so I can Solitude the Reflection and go Kiki or Teferi, Cryptic Command. I'm feeling pretty good about. I don't know if I'm supposed to hold the Awakening or play it. I think I'm supposed to play it. Teferi plus bounce, not a good option. The problem is if I bounce, they get to kill my Teferi, right? I think Fury last turn was better. Because, like, I bounced their Fable, but then they still have lethal for the Teferi, right? Then they don't have 5 power. Red Black Anvil, Red Black Midrange. Anvil's been my favorite deck. I think it's likely to be my favorite deck in Pioneer going forward. I'm hoping to play a Pioneer Challenge, like, next weekend. This weekend with the SCG, obviously. Could Ranger class be good in that Green-Black Rock deck? I don't think you have enough creatures, right? I'm not necessarily of the opinion that Ranger class is good in general, but that would be my initial concern, is the lack of creatures. Consider bouncing Fury. Could bounce Fury. Drawing cards is also like really nice when you have this much mana, though. I think the world's pretty much your oyster. Bouncing the Valakut Awakening is also maybe correct. Yeah, bouncing Valakut Awakening is actually probably better than drawing a card. Outland Liberator make good Force of Visor sub in Gensack. It would be, yeah, especially because you're playing on Earth. It'd be fine. I think I like Deluging first. It's kind of close. Okay, so probably gonna just take Deluge, Solitude, play the Flagstones, and then hardcast the Solitude on their turn. I can sack the. I could. It could be better to play the Lotus Field here because I get to untap it with Teferi. But we also get to sack the Lotus Field to Flagstones next turn. Dashing Ragavan. I guess that's what I'm exiling because they seem low on resources at the moment. So I don't need to Solitude it yet. I'm going to make them agonize over how they're attacking the Teferi. Everything at Teferi. So with everything at Teferi, I can probably exile the Seasoned Pyromancer. And their last card is removal, so Teferi's taking 6. It does still survive. Then they can play the Bone Crusher Giant post-combat. Blood Sun, very good draw. Cryptic Command, very good draw. Okay, probably dumping both those to the Valakut Awakening. But not going to do that yet. Just going to Cryptic Command this turn. I keep the Teferi. I can, like, basically cycle the Teferi for -1 mana. Sweet foiled out Lotus Fields. No, I don't have any foil Lotus Fields. Just regular ones. I've never played the deck in paper before. Probably not super surprising to hear. But I have owned the deck in paper for a long time. Okay, I'll just put back the Hallowed Fountain in the March here. Mostly looking for more incarnations. There we go. Fury is definitely better though. This turn, we're going to lead on another Hero of Dominaria, though. Probably going to prioritize playing Chalice on 1. I guess I should... Let me actually Valakut Awakening first. I'm going to Awakening away the Sacred Foundry and the Blood Sun. Maybe find Fury, maybe find Lotus Field, maybe find Fury and Lotus Field. Maybe find neither. Okay, so let's just go Chalice of the Void. And then I've already used 3 Awakenings, so I'll just play the Seachrome Coast as a land. One's hand is Ragavan Mystery card. I think I'm supposed to exile the Bone Crusher. How do I feel about Chalice? I think Chalice is at an all-time high since the Lurrus banning, but not as high as before necessarily. But there's been a big uptick in Cascade decks lately. I think there will be a decent amount of Cascade decks at the tournament. Murktide is also, I think, one of the most popular decks, if not even the most popular deck. Murktide is gonna be like top 3, I think. So I'm feeling pretty good about main decking the Chalice, which is obviously a big part of the reason why I'm playing the deck and playing them in the deck. Ooh, rough. Just put an offer on a house 25k over asking. Yeah, that's... basically all of our offers were at least 25 over, and only one of our 8 offers got accepted. The one that we did get accepted was actually like 50 over, but they also like really lowballed the asking price. Like the asking price was like, it was way too low. Like everybody, they kind of intentionally like lowered it, so like there was gonna be like a lot of bidding. It's kind of crazy. It's a nightmare out there though. Against Mardu Obosh. Trying to visualize what their deck looks like exactly. I kind of doubt they have Blood Moon, but they could have it. Relative what they asked for, how much higher do you think it should have been? I think it should have been like 30,000, 20 to 30,000 over what they posted, and then we kind of corrected for that by offering like 50 extra. But we're actually like really happy with like the price we got for the house, to be honest. I think I'm just resubmitting. Like that's like, you know, in this market for the house we got in the location, we're really happy. Okay, I'm gonna keep this. Yeah, it's gross. Tails in is good against Titantron, Omnath, Blue-White Control, Belcher. It's not great against Belcher, but kind of like a Miracle trigger. Okay, probably Solituding that. Nope, never mind. Draw the best card possible. Played your current list at my local meta. Any idea for Niv matchup? How to beat Raugrin, for example? This deck? How to kill Raugrin? I guess you get Teferi minus on a Raugrin. That card does seem pretty hard to deal with. I don't know. I would mostly just not worry about it too much. If you really care, you can play a multicolored removal spell. But I think that just accepting that you have a hard time killing exactly Jinna Raugrin is okay. Let's see, am I moving to? I'm staying in the Metroplex. I'm moving a little bit closer to Dallas, though, for Esther's work. Not much closer, though, thankfully. Thankfully, not much closer. I'm actually going to get basic planes here, just in case they do have Blood Moon. Prismatic Vista makes me think they might, where planes is going to allow me to draw March down the line to answer the moon, hopefully. Well, natives match the super because of the value they do. Well, that's kind of the nice about this deck, is a lot of times you get to go over the top of the value. Like, you can let them draw a lot of cards and just kind of do your own thing after that. Dallas-Fort Worth is called the Metroplex. Well, it's the Metroplex I live in. I don't think people who live it here call it the Metroplex. But most other people probably call it a Metroplex. Dude, Fury is such a good draw. Really want to go to Teferi this turn. Fury does clean up the board super nicely. We probably don't need to agonize too much over these decisions, to be honest. Game is looking like it's going to be very hard to lose. I think I'm just going to... Even calling this pumping the brakes feels a little disingenuous, but just pump the brakes a little bit. Just hardcast the Fury. And maybe I should have cast the Blood Sun first. I can also put Kaheera in my hand. Still do that. Okay. One match one against Mardu mid-range. Obviously, looked like a pretty good matchup, huh? No white mana. But we have a Solitude that we can pitch and a Blood Sun we can cast on turn 3. I think we keep. When I consider hosting for that, I can do that, yeah. It's a good suggestion. No love for Summary Dismissal? Not really. I think, like, you really, like, you want to lower your curve post board. I don't have much love for Summary Dismissal. Is that a barrel? Storm is probably a really bad matchup. Comey with 8 months. Dude, we used to actually, when I used to play Tales in more in Modern, people always like, do you want to bring in Tales in against Storm? It counters the Storm trigger, and I'd always be like, well, they just pass in flames, yeah, usually. I guess you have 4 Force of Negation. Dude, they're playing Reckless Impulse? It's pretty sweet. we got 4 Force of Negations, we got some Rest in Peace. Maybe we're okay. Maybe we turn off a fetch land here. Oh, Chalice is, yeah, I can Chalice on 2 next turn. Assuming we get a next turn. Ah, they played a fetch land. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, we talk about Professional Facebreaker. I mean, just kind of like any other 3 mana card that you need to untap with in Modern, but it's pretty good. Oh boy. Why Storm playing fetches again? Fetches usually mean Blood Moon in the sideboard, right? Can you cast March with no white mana? No, you can't. Dead 2 gifts, dead to Passive Flames, yeah. Good rule of thumb. Gifts ungiven, mana creature, 3 floating mana is a deterministic kill and you can concede. So chat, thank you for the 6 months. Appreciate you. I think that I want to be on like 2 ending, 4 March. The instant speed exile on March feels super relevant to me. Same thing with Solitude. And then I think we probably go like down each of our Deluge, Teferi, Cryptic. I'd wait for the gift stack though. Yeah, if you're playing a tournament, wait for the gift stack. As far as like my usual policy as far as streaming goes, if I'm deterministically dead to a combo, I really value conceding and saving my time and saving your time and saving my opponent's time. Me and Liz with 18 months. Oatmeal, appreciate it with Twitch Prime. If you're playing a big tournament, make sure that you know your opponent can knows how to kill you, but they probably do. On the play against Storm, I don't like this hand that much. Okay, I like this hand more. I think we'll put back the Solitude on the mulligan. Feels it might be worth it because of empty, but that's like the only thing it's good against, and it's bad if they have Passive Flames and empty. You know what I mean? Just too narrow, I think. It's not like we have like some terrible card to play it over to. Hopefully no remand here. Or Spell Pierce, I said, right? So you got 2 Wear Tear for 2 Tails in last time. Is that because you're seeing Uptick in Tron? Tron, 4-color Omnath, Titan, Cascade. And also, like, with the added March of Otherworldly Light, your Hammer Time matchup got better because of the marches, so you don't really need the Wear Tears as much. And there's not really too many other artifact decks besides Hammer. Alright, pretty good Force of Negation. If I've ever seen a good Force of Negation, that might have been it. I guess I'll play my land so I can maybe draw another land and cast Teferi next turn. Why go up to 2 Chalice Cascade? Yeah, Cascade and Murktide. Murktide's definitely being more popular right now. I think I'm minusing. Barrel? 2 mana? Barrel, Grape Shot. Kaheera, to me! Answer my call! I'm gonna leave the Raugrin Triomes in the deck to cycle. Bad matchups for Lotus Field. Burn, Belcher, Oops All Spells. Glimpse combo. I guess we have Chalice for Glimpse combo. It's probably not that bad. But spell-based combo usually is what I'm most scared of. Storm seems like one of the worst matchups. Although, Chalice on 2 is very good against Storm. You consider fish basics? Yeah, we should got basic planes. Yeah. Can we get a Tails In command that the Tails In is for 4-color Omnath, blue-white control, Tron, Cascade decks, and Titan? And then I guess I'm playing a second Chalice on 2 because my Chalice on 1 it just gets countered. Don't think I want a Chalice on 3. Go, Kaheera, go! You can do it. Yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe Stopping Wish is relevant. The Storm Run repeal and the 2 CMC bounce. So the 2 CMC bounce doesn't matter with 2 Chalices in play. But yeah, sometimes they run a repeal. Sometimes they run a braid. X equals 1. If I cast it, I don't know if you're joking, but if you cast it X equals 1, the Chalice on 2... Oh, well. The Chalice on 2 counters it. I was just showing what would happen if we did cast the Chalice on X equals 1 there. No, I'm showing you what would happen. That was an instructional play. That wasn't a punt. I was teaching moment. Kaheera's really holding it down, huh? Kind of surprised they just ran up the MT for 2. Just holding these for Awakening. But that wasn't the command, no. I wanted a helpful command for Tails in. Okay, play this so we can hold up Cryptic. I think there was one other card in between there. Maybe that was 3 rips in a row. Thank you, Vada. Consider Wandering Emperor. I've ran 2 over the 3rd Chalice. 3rd March has been great. You could play a Wandering Emperor. I do think that with like all the Furies and Solitudes, like you don't need it as much. You could play it though. I think the Wandering Emperor is good. I also think though I do generally rate the Wandering Emperor lower than the average control player does. I know that the Magic community is currently in the middle of a torrid love affair with the Wandering Emperor. Everything's going really well, but I just kind of think there's still a lot of other great 4-mana planeswalkers we could be playing. Although Teferi +1 Lotus Field on tap, Wandering Emperor is probably pretty good. Okay, this may be them trying to get up some storm count here. I guess I could have maybe Solituded the Baral in response. But now I also just get to attack for 4. Well, let's Awakening first, I guess. I could be getting rid of 3 Rest in Peace here. But chat they just made me show them. And I guess it's probably just fine to tap draw. But you already have 8 other 4-drops in the deck too, so Wandering Emperor isn't like great on the curve. I don't know what this is getting. I guess I just kind of want to find out. Maybe Grape Shot. Counter tap. She's carrying us, bruv. Kaheera is literally carrying us. I'm gonna actually cut the 3rd Deluge because I have all these rips in the deck. Teferi also pitches to Solitude and Force. Croc, 7 months, appreciate ya. I'm doing well. I think 4-color Reclamation will be strong because of the new Triomes. Maybe, we're gonna try it out for sure. Definitely gonna try it out. It's still an issue though that you're like wanting to play Ren in 6. And I don't know how like much the new Triomes help, but they definitely help some. But maybe you just like don't play Archmage's Charm and the mana's pretty good. Man, this hand is so good if Lotus Field is any other land. I may even keep this on the draw though. We have Force, Chalice, Rest in Peace against Storm. I think I've got to keep. I think this matchup's pretty bad, and as a general rule of thumb, if you're in a bad matchup and you have a hand that could win, it just needs land and draw the draw. If you just I think you're supposed to keep high upside risky hands against bad matchups on average, and then mulligan more aggressively in good matchups. Obviously, that isn't an exhaustive rule of thumb, and I don't always follow my own advice, but just some general advice. And we rattled off 2 lands in a row. The Otawara is pretty good in this deck too. -1 Deluge, -1 Cryptic, +2 Iteration. Deluge is so... Deluge, I would have cut the Deluge, the 4th Deluge, 4th Cryptic. Hey, Andrea. Iteration is just really awkward too in a deck with like 12 5-drops. I guess the pitch elementals are not too bad with the 5-drops. So if they Blood Moon here, I could just let it resolve, right? And then play 2 Lotus Fields, and then Otawara the Blood Moon. Okay, well, they're going forward into the Force of Negation. Oh, no. Oh, no. I don't have any sweepers. I guess theoretically we could draw some crazy series of Cryptic Commands, but dead. Like if you force the Ritual, they still have their payoff in the hand. It's a huge problem because we have nothing else going for us, right? All we have there really is our Force for the next couple turns. And I think I put back a Chalice. It's like with all you have the Forces, I think you have to hope they don't have to empty. They're going for Past in Flames instead, or Gifts and Given. I think you just force that and you're in really good shape, as opposed to forcing the Ritual and still dying to empty because you have no resources left. I have Vine through the 18 months. Appreciate you. What's his next worst matchup? Burn, Belcher. Storm is probably one of the worst matchups. Also, it's GG's. It's also definitely correct to force the Ritual. Thank you. GG's to you. Definitely correct. The new Blue Man after Ritual. Yeah, they could have had Past in Flames. Again, we had basically nothing after the Force of Negation. I feel very good about the decision still, to be honest. I would do it again. I would not force the Ritual again. It was obviously Warrens. It wasn't obviously Warrens. It could very easily have been Past in Flames. Screamers to give the 4 months. Appreciate you. They can't go off the Ritual with Past in Flames. Did they have? If they had literally only, if they had one more card in their hand and I missed that, then sure. If they had 0 more cards in hand, if empty was their last card, then yes, it was right to force the Ritual. But I thought that they had more cards in their hand, and a land drop. Maybe better to play this Chalice on 0. Could be also better to hold it for Awakening. Looks like we would have gotten rewarded. They had 2 in hand after the writ. Yeah, if it's you know, land Past in Flames, Ritual Past in Flames, we force, we get to win the game. At the very least, we both said our piece. We don't need to, you know, keep going over this over and over and over again. I'm still going to be Living In with Grief in the deck. Also, Twiddle Storm. Living In's a really good matchup. You're a Chalice of the Void, Force of Negation, Rest in Peace deck. Yeah, Twiddle Storm though is like your worst. Twiddle Storm, Regular Storm, Belcher, those are your worst matchups. White down the 17 months, appreciate you. But you do have 4 Force of Negation, like you have sideboard cards, but you have correctly identified your worst matchups. I think I'll play second Chalice if they hit Ending or March off Ragavan. They can't get out of their Chalice on 1. Taking 8. Ooh, Otawara would have been not a bad draw. I have better draws, I guess. What's nice here is we can't get Drowned in the Locks, really. Can't get Discard Spelled. Are they going for a second Murktide? Kind of looks like they're going for a second Murktide. Hate drawing a land here. I'm going to wait until combat to bounce the Murktide. Again, they can't drown it. They can't Spell Pierce it. And I want to be able to go counter bounce Murktide if they do have Murktide here. Would I consider Deafening Silence a sideboard option for Storm? I think Force of Negation is generally better because it also gives you more equity against Tron. And Storm is also like incredibly unpopular. Like I know we just played against it, but Storm is still like a really rare deck to play against. Huh, I can cast that. Why isn't Belcher played more? Every single Belcher player became incredibly afraid of Boseiju and left the format. I think I'll play second Lotus Field, so if I draw a Teferi, it's a bit better. Oh, although Lotus Field's so bad against Drown, though. Is there room for Verdict? I mean, you're playing 4 Solitude, 4 Fury, so like while Verdict is a good card, I think you usually don't need it. Yeah, I'll feel pretty silly if I lose to Drown here. 4 cards in their hand. Pretty likely they have one, to be honest. So now we get to go Blood Sun first. And if they do kind of have to fetch here no matter what. And if they have Drown, they may drown the Blood Sun. And if they do, we can Kaheera in hand, exile the Murktide.
What's up? It's me, your friend Aspiring Spike.
Oh, I didn't realize Professional Facebreaker was a warrior. That's pretty relevant. Okay. Tricky spot to navigate still. I guess what I should do...
What's up? It's me, your friend Aspiring Spike.
I guess what I should do, just to play around Drown the most I can, is cast a Fury, let it get drowned, then evoke Solitude. Maybe I should evoke Solitude first? Obviously this is higher upside though, if they just don't have the Drown, but it did look like they had it. I'm gonna take one more hit off the Ragavan. Hopefully they're out of gas. We have a lot of mana. We have Kaheera at the very least to try to block Ragavan. Hopefully they have all 1-drops in their hand. We are at a meager 2 life. Oh no! Come on. That is probably the best hit, right?
It's me, your friend Aspiring Spike.
Seems like Evoke Solitude is better. Yeah. Yeah. So we're dead if they just -3 on the Kaheera, if we don't draw anything else. Alright, shout out to anything else. Hopefully they don't have Drown or Dress Down. Tense game. Gonna hold the lands in hand for Valakut Awakening. So them casting Consider is to grow their potential Murktide Regents. I can't beat a Murktide Regent this turn, of course. There's no real stock list of Grixis Shadow. It's hard to say exactly what they're on at the moment, or what they're not on. Yeah, I like this Teferi art a lot too. Got some good Mana Traders RNG today. Not enough happy families in fantasy. Usually all the parents are dead. Orphans seeking their vengeance. How many times do we get hit by the turn 1 Ragavan and win anyways? Many times, huh? Kind of deluge because we're bringing in the rips. Got him a look in this one. And I think we have to keep this on 6 and not feel super good about it. It's pretty bad if they discard my Valakut Awakening on turn 1. So I'm going to Solitude, pitch Solitude on the Ragavan here. If I beat everything, including Dress Down, because I could just block the Ragavan. Everything that's at least, like, typically played. I could get got by Tail's End here. White land would be nice. No such luck. It may be a bit better to pitch March because we have Kaheera, but the upside of like drawing a white source this turn, like marching another 1-drop, then slamming Blood Sun does feel pretty high. Kameo is the only planeswalker as a family. Is Kameo different than Tameo? Is that just typo? Yeah, Tameo, yeah, and now Tameo is a Phyrexian. So now we'll see the inverse of the trope, where Tameo is coming to, or Tameo's parents coming to avenge her. Alright, just playing the Chark out. Obviously our draw is really awkward mulligan. Although maybe we could have a Jean-Luc Picard situation where we get to uncomplete Tameo. That'd be pretty nice. So I guess I need to play some Furies. Probably should have had that for this game, to be honest. What Phyrexian Planeswalkers do I want to see? All of them? I don't know. None of them? Somewhere in that range. Somewhere in that range of all of them to none of them. Phyrexian card? Yeah, the card would probably be the coolest. It'd be cool maybe to see Phyrexian Obnixilis. Phyrexian Nissa. Oh, Koth would be pretty sweet. What about Gideon? Is it possible for Gideon to come back as a Phyrexian? 5-color Phyrexian Omnath. Yeah, the thing with the Phyrexians is that they're all so cool. Phyrexians are just they're just all badasses, and it's just kind of hard to go too wrong. Yeah, Phyrexian Ren 6 would be awesome. Although, I kind of feel like what I want to see with Ren 6 is I want to see Ren 6 or Ren take Boseiju as the tree it bonds to. That's what I want to see. Okay, well, I need to ending this. They might have Drown, obviously. I don't think we've got too many outs here, but I could do something crazy like Teferi and chain a bunch of Cryptics together, deal with this. I could also get to take this hit. Okay, gotta play some Furies. I think we need March less on the play. So we're just gonna cut 2 March for 2 Fury. Guess for Mel can't play around Drown. I guess that's fair. But I mean, I honestly kind of like just playing into the Drown though, because we can't beat Drown this game no matter what. But like if there's a Drown in their hand, we lose no matter what. On the play, game 3, it's Scorch's Shadow. Easy keep. Alright, so I imagine we lose this Rest in Peace, which is fine. Probably just get Thoughtseize bugged into a Rest in Peace. Played around Drown by using all your mana ending. We could have, and we probably should have, but the reality is we can't beat a Drown unlock in my opponent's hand. We have no outs to Drown unlock that game. So I even kind of think just like taking the L is fine. Just like make them show me that they have the Drown now, and then worry about beating it later. I guess I kind of like trying to play around Spell Pierce a little bit, ending the Ragavan this turn. Maybe go Lotus Field, resolve Blood Sun, or play Blood Sun next turn. It could also be good to like just not play around Spell Pierce, but the game just kind of ends if they do have the Pierce. But at least like next turn if they Pierce me, They don't have the active Ragavan, and I don't have enough cards in my graveyard for Drown to be active right now either. Looks like maybe they're playing like a Liliana. I would love for them to just tap out for Liliana here. Not that I'm like a Liliana hater, but this is good for us. They discard Heats, 3 cards in their hand. Second Teferi. We're almost definitely just going to put Kaheera in our hand and discard Kaheera to Liliana this turn. And also, notably, they can't shock themselves to cast Shadow, although they might not even be playing Shadow, to be honest. Iteration. Does Blood Sun stop City of Brass damage? I think so, yeah. Because, yeah, City of Brass just has a separate ability whenever it becomes tapped. It deals you damage, so I think it just removes that ability. Thoughts on the return of TBR for Shadowless? I don't know if anybody's doing it, but if you're playing blue, you should play Dress Down instead. And it's not really, like, even that complicated. Yeah, it doesn't stop Mana Confluence damage, because it's its own ability. Guess I'll minus on Liliana. And ending the monkey. Alright, Dead Delta. Looks like we're probably going to win this one. Not trying to count my chickens or anything, but we definitely have some number of chickens, okay? That's all I'm going to say. Can I play around Spell Pierce on the Deluge here? 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, so I guess I'll just end of turn Deluge. I'm not counting them yet, but I do see a lot of chickens, alright? Yeah, they can't drown the... Oh, they can! It still has a mana value 4. Okay, I didn't realize that. Should have realized it, though. Yeah, I think we'll just play Chalice, then play a second Teferi, just get a higher loyalty Planeswalker in play. And then I could cycle the Valakut Awakening, but my hand is, I think, too strong to cast the Awakening yet. Okay, opponent packs it in, and we advance to 2-0. Oh, 2-1, sorry. What was this lost to? Oh, it's to the Storm deck. Yeah, Storm is just such a bad matchup. I'm okay taking the L there. Or like, at the very least, it's just like not that good of a game plan overall. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm gonna mulligan that hand though. Let's keep this. Put back the one of the lands or the march. Probably the plains. Not sure if I'm supposed to... Obviously, we don't know the matchup. It's kind of tough. But now I'm kind of wishing I kept the third on top land Sacred Awakening. Looks like we're likely playing against Murktide, though. It could be a different deck. They did get basic mountain or basic island. Okay, I think I'll just play a Lotus Field here, and if they Blood Moon me, maybe they Blood Moon me. I don't think they're that likely to have a copy. But this will let me potentially Awakening next turn into, hopefully, Blood Sun. Maybe play... Is there any way to play... If I draw an untapped land next turn, and they play something for me to, like, Ending or March, maybe I'll want to just play this as a land? Probably not, though. The heat?
Yeah, because I'm super cold. Okay. It's cold outside.
Okay.
Well, it's not warm.
Okay.
It's the same temperature. And I'm like, I can't get warm.
That's fine. Alright, I'll just play the Fountain tapped and attack or pass. I could put Kaheera in my hand. Does seem like they're playing Blue Moon. Yeah, Kaheera's like one extra card off the Awakening too. Yeah, this is just fine. I need to save the Solitude for Murktide. I can't Solitude this. Blue Moon doesn't usually play Bauble. Well, when I say Blue Moon, I mean Blue Red Murktide, the main deck's Blood Moon, which is like I don't know who needs to hear this, but that is the best way to build Blue Moon, is to just build Murktide and put Blood Moon in it. I think they're pretty unlikely to fight over this. We'll see what happens, though. Okay, another Ragavan. Love to draw a land here. Okay, I think I'm going to play the Valakut Awakening as a land at this point. Can't imagine that this resolves. They drew 2 instead of countering the Chalice. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I guess it means they have an answer to the Chalice. Maybe not. Means they misclicked. Well, it's really hard to misclick the draw 2 because you have to like target yourself too. I guess I'll try to counter this. I think it's probably unlikely to resolve. Oh boy. So it is like more traditional Blue Moon, which is not a very good matchup, I think. They do only have... Oh, I thought they only had 1 mana up this turn.
What's up? It's me, your friend Aspiring Spike.
A new monkey. Spike says not a good matchup a lot. I mean, yeah. Listen, our bad matchups are like Blue-Red Storm, Blue-Red Moon, you know? It's okay for these to be bad matchups. I mean, it's kind of hard for them to keep the Solitude alive, right? With the Chalice in one in play. They probably got something. Oh, my opponent failed to find. They failed to find on their fetch land there. Surely that was a misclick. Boom Bust, return Solitude to my hand. Well. Abe, thank you for the 6 months. Appreciate ya. Wait, is this -7 win the game? It's -8 win the game. Effectively win the game. They can Lightning Bolt to the iteration really quickly. They can't cast it through the Chalice. Should have let them Solitude get +2 attack. Well, Solitude at least has like value on the ETB. I don't think there's a big difference between attacking for 3 and attacking for 4. I guess I'm attacking the Rao probably. But like they do have a creature to play here. Like I'm kind of like Murktide could be a consideration as like an answer to this. Okay, Blood Moon confirmed. Dude, are they actually showing me Murktide? There's no way they actually show me that they've got Murktide, right? Okay, that's great. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the 4th March as an answer to Ragavan / Blood Moon. I probably want like 2 Rest in Peace. I probably want 0 Furies. They are playing Murktide, so I think we keep in all the Solitudes. I probably trim a Ending. And then play like 2 Force of Negation and the Nexus. Maybe Nexus isn't good. Maybe just play like 3 Force of Negations. Kind of like this. Yeah, Nexus is definitely better against the more hard control decks. Always like what's so tough about Blue Moon is it's such a blend, you know. So I really like that this hand I can use Flagstones to get a basic island. So basic plains, so that I can march you Blood Moon through the Blood Moon. No turn 1 Ragavan, first time for everything. And then I do also kind of like not playing the Lotus Field next turn, so like if they're gonna Blood Moon me, they don't kind of get that full value, right? Well, maybe it was still better to... Yeah, I just don't want them to Blood Moon the Lotus Field. Just kind of okay playing a slower game plan here. And the turn cycles Dress Down. Maybe we'll miss a land drop. Taps out for iteration. Love to draw like Rest in Peace Blood Sun here. I'm kind of confused what their list looks like because they're playing Ral Zarek, they're playing Jace, they're playing are they playing just not Channeler? They are playing Bauble, but they're also playing Blood Moon and they're playing Archmage's Charm and they're playing Consider. Like they're playing Iteration. What did they cut? How do they have Ral and Blood Moon and Jace in the deck?
Have you ever thought that they might have a bigger brain than you?
I'm asking. I think they do. That's what I'm trying to find out. What did their bigger brain figure out? Because I can't figure it out. This is not criticism. I'm genuinely asking. How do they have all these cards in the deck? So I can, if I draw a untapped red source, I can exile the Jace with Ending. Okay, I guess I'll just bounce it, maybe try to exile it next turn. Definitely not a great spot to be in. Oh yeah, they also had a Boom Bust, yeah. And they're about to rouse Eric me here. Oh, they just wanted to shuffle, I guess. They're not playing any 1-drops into the Chalice, hopefully. Oh yeah, not Boom Bust, sorry. It was Dead Gone, not Boom Bust. It's kind of the same card, though. They're discarding. I can ending this now. Green, blue, red, white. And then Kaheera in my hand off the Steam Vents. And that's just pure unadulterated card advantage, baby. Alright, 4 Considers in that graveyard. Fall of Gondolin, thank you for the 6 months, appreciate ya. Opponent's Murktiding. I have 8 mana, I can just I can maybe just march it. They are obviously pretty likely to have some counter magic up though. I'm flooding out a little bit. So I have 9 mana in play now. I can discount the March for 2 mana with the Kaheera pitch. And so exiling the Murktide is going to cost me, instead of 9 mana, 7 mana. So I can't march with Cryptic up. It's going to pass. first counterspell down. Do love that draw. Basically a whole new hand. What days of the week am I playing Pioneer? I'm not playing Pioneer any specific days of the week. Just continuing to play whatever I feel like, whenever I feel like it. Brutal dispute. Oh man, Red Dead double bolt. We got a Chalice in play. I think what I want to do is, I guess I'm pretty forced to do this, where we go just 8 mana, March of Otherworldly Light, and then if this fails, when this fails, evoke Solitude. And if they had 3 counterspells up, they had 3 counterspells up. Should we not do an upkeep? I mean, they have 1 mana tapped here. We need this to resolve too. They had 3 counterspells up. Yeah, I usually like the blue-white control matchup a lot, but the blue-red decks are just so hard to... The blue moon decks are like a weirdly bad matchup, I think. Upkeep fades, Force of Negation, taps man their turn though. I guess, yeah. Am I still locked in with this for SCG? Yeah, we faced 2 weird bad matchups in a row. I'm okay to still play this deck at the SCG. We lost to Blue Red Storm and Blue Moon. If I play those at the SCG and I lose, I'm at peace with it. Prince not playing Living End? What the heck? Not sure if this is E-Tron or Green-Tron. If it's Green-Tron, they do have a lot of 1-drops, but no 1-drops were in the opening hand. Oh, sorry, I don't know why Prince and Menino get confused. Sorry, obviously Prince always plays Tron. I was supposed to march this token. Yikes. Could still be Green-Tron, actually, but I think that it's much more likely to be E-Tron. Tails End also pretty good in this matchup. Gonna cut all the Chalices. Gonna cut the Marches. Do you want the Force of Negations? Even against Eldrazi Tron? I'll do something like... Maybe I'll still play the Endings. But just go down on Fury. I think removing the Chalice signals Green-Tron. Yeah! Yeah, I think that's a good read too. We don't board that differently. But you could be right. I'm going to keep this hand either way. Yeah, the Blue Moon matchup is... The Murktide matchup's a lot better than Blue Moon. Because, like, normal Murktide's, like, not even playing Blood Moon in their sideboard right now. But even if they do, it's sideboard, not main deck. And it's way easier for you to plan to just, like, deal with their creatures than it is for you to try to figure out, okay, how am I beating Blood Moon and creatures and planeswalkers? It's just really tough for this deck to beat it all. Freezy Pop with the 5 months. Appreciate ya. Lots of blue-white currently. I think it's pretty good, I'd say. Okay, is Green-Tron. Okay, so if we get to game 3, we're going to sideboard a little different, I guess. That being said, we do have a very strong hand on the play here with Blood Sun, double Lotus Field, and Teferi. Yeah, but I usually do want some Chalices against Blue-Tron, and I want the Nexus against Green-Tron. What led cutting Ragavans to the side? The decline in Tron. I know that we're playing against it right now, but the decline in Tron and Belcher were those are the 2 main decks you wanted the Ragavans in the side for, and now they're gone, so you don't need them as badly. Heads up to exile the Blood Sun. Just gonna plus maybe. Yeah, Blood Sun does not turn off Tron. Yeah, it does have the Sight 2 minus there. And we have the Sight 2. Draw another Blood Sun. They can minus their card on my Lotus Field, but we do have a second Lotus Field. Do you feel the irony of matching against all these decks specific today for practice? Yeah, I do. I mean, we did beat Grixis Shadow earlier, and then the Mardu deck. Yeah, I don't know. I've played these matchups many times before. It's okay to, like, you know, take the L against the decks that, you know, we're not necessarily expecting to run against. I don't know. Maybe this is a good lesson though, because it's like, it is maybe it is the case that we're not supposed to metagame too much for tomorrow's tournament, right? Where it's so hard to predict, like, what random decks you're going to go against, but, you know, losing to random decks is definitely always something that happens in Modern, you know? Yeah, Bloodsun turns off Hexproof. Thank you, Drox. Yeah, it does turn off Synctum, Blast Zone, and that's it. Yeah, but if they down tick again, it's fine, because I've got backup Lotus Field. I can go Teferi Plus. If they uptick, I can go Teferi Minus. They put another Karn Liberated in their hands. They probably minus. So we're going to hope to draw a counter spell in the top two. Well, I guess now we can Solitude after the Karn minus and kill the Karn. We do need to draw some gas. I think Valakut Awakening is kind of randomly the best draw here. Or another Teferi, Memory Deluge. Valakut Awakening is probably the best. I should probably just cast Fury though. Oh, sorry. If I was gonna cast Fury this turn, I was supposed to kill the Karn. Oops. Still casting it though. Still correct. Just missed 3 damage. About to get blown out with Ugin. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I'm gonna grab Beseiju, who endures. They can Beseiju my Lotus Field. But if they spend their turn Beseijuing my Lotus Field, and then I just get to, like, Kaheera, hit them for millions, that's okay. Lotus Field does not have Hexproof if there's Bloodsun in play. Said they hit the Bloodsun, which I have a backup copy of, so I guess I'm not too upset. So that must mean Sanctum Ugin or Blast Zone. Takes up to 5 counters, but thankfully I've got the backup Bloodsun. And Tail's End is a huge top deck here. Finally finding a counter spell. Hard to be too upset about the Otawara, which we do have up because the Kaheera is a legend. So then we beat basically everything. I guess Ulamog, we hit them for 1. We can Tails End the trigger. We can Otawara a Worm Coil. We can Tails End Karn, Ugin, and other Karn. Okay, they found another Beseiju. So I guess I Tails End that. Feels pretty good. Could have maybe better the Tails End the Blast Zone, because it's like that's more mana efficient, but yeah, I guess that makes them sink like 4 extra mana. But it also feels really good to Tails End the Beseiju. Alright, I'll just Otawara this. Wouldn't Tails End Blast Zone be lethal? The Bloodsun's turning off the Blast Zone, right? Yeah, I think it was better to counter the Blast Zone though, because it taps them out of more mana. They still have 1 card in their hand. Okay, so they are Mono Blue Tron though. Let's pivot a little bit. I'm gonna play the Nexus. I'm gonna play like 2 Chalice of the Void. I'm gonna cut the 4th Solitude. What wasn't Tails End Blast Zone a win? Yeah. I mean, Tails Ending the Beseiju stops it from activating the Blast Zone. But Tails Ending the Blast Zone was better because it makes them tap more mana. Green? What did I say? Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I know I've been keep calling this mono blue for some reason. I don't know. Brain's just falling apart. On the draw against mono green Tron. Probably has to be a mulligan. We can keep this one. Be tough. Probably putting back the Force of Negation. It's kind of close. Like, Force is really good in this hand. But we're already on the mulligan. And this hand is kind of good to, I think, just going turn 2 Chalice. Turn... Maybe Chalice on the draw is a little slow. Maybe we'll just put back the Chalice. And then... Not sure if I would force the map or not. This is always something to agonize over. Whether or not to force the expedition
What's up?
map.
It's me, your friend Aspiring Spike.
I can also Tails in my Lotus Field ETB, but with the Flagstones in play, it's not like too helpful. Okay, I can just try to Tails in the expedition map activation and then keep the force up. It's a bit awkward if I don't ever get the opportunity to, like if Prince doesn't like main phase this, but it'd probably be okay. Okay, sacks Chromatic Sphere. Cracks the map. We get to Tails End it. Dude, Tails End is so sick. I've really missed casting the card. I'm glad that it kind of came back around finally. I was waiting for it to come back around. For those of you who weren't around when we first were putting this deck together, this deck used to main deck like 3 Tails End. Partially because it was like pretty good in the metagame, but also partially for like counting your own Lotus Field ETB. Wasn't it bad an hour ago? It finally came around. Okay, they did find second Tron piece. But now I get to pass with a big wall of permission. I'm going to wait a turn on the Chalice. Chalice would be pretty good here, but I think being able to, like, this turn Deluge, and then next turn go Chalice Cryptic up is probably pretty good. Although I will Cryptic the Karn. Alright, so this turn I think I'm going to Deluge. Try to Deluge into untap land, Chalice on 1, hold up Force. Okay, let's take Cryptic Otawara, I think. Cryptic is just so good in these spots. Is this something? Is this a new spoiler? Make disappear. Counter target spell unless this control plays 2. Casualty 1, copy it. It's probably not very good, no. I think I'll pitch the Force. These delusions are just so good. Although maybe because I have the flashback on one of them, it's fine to not do that. Here I'm gonna, I think, sack Flagstones, Raugrin Triome, because I could potentially bounce my Otawara and channel it at some point. Mesmer, the 3 months, appreciate you. Welcome back. Cryptic bounce power plant's pretty tempting. It's just so bad against, like, Karn, right? Okay, I don't care about O-Stone. I'll just simply Tails End it. I think I'll just take Cryptic Wear Tear. Maybe I'll kill the O-Stone. Nah. I think I'd rather just be able to flashback Deluge. If they pass with O-Stone up, then I'm just like... just chilling. Cryptic counter card, bounce power plant instead of drawing a card. Wait, they forced? That was really weird. Okay, I think I'll counter this. I think I'd rather draw a card. I'm just like not that interested in giving them the time. Okay. Maybe I should have crypticed the map there, but I'm like, I'm out of counter spells. There's only 1 card in hand. It's gonna be kind of hard to keep off of Tron forever. But if I knew I was drawing a Teferi and I could keep my opponent off Tron, then I think it'd probably be an easier call. I guess I should just main phase this Deluge, and then I can hold up the Cryptic. The Tails End is pretty nice too. This way I can counter like an Ulamog cast trigger if I want to. But I might not want to. Because I just have a backup Teferi. Okay, we should be sitting pretty here. We also have, remember, a Nexus of Fate in the deck, and the game kind of just ends as soon as we find it, and we also have roughly like 1 million looks to find it too here. So I'm going to dig kind of deep for it, I think. Guess I'll take Blood Sun, Lotus Field. And I'm actually 1 mana short of Blood Sun, Lotus Field, Valakut Awakening, untap 2 lands for Nexus. So let's just Awakening here. And I'm actually going to put back my entire hand instead of the tail's end, just because if I can find land, Nexus, that's a game over. And I feel like I'm pretty likely to. I did miss. Gonna play this untapped though so I can flash back the Deluge, and I've got Tails and Force of Negation up. I think we're actually guaranteed to find the Nexus next turn. So maybe I will just force this. Just happy to trade 1 for 1 for literally anything here at this point in the game. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot you have to like proxy Nexus of Fate. Wait, how do we not find the Nexus? Did I not board it in? Did we shuffle? Okay. I think it might have been like the last possible card there. I might have miscounted too. Sideways, thank you for the 6 months. Appreciate you. Yeah, I'll just foil my deck. Yeah, I'll talk to a judge about it. I'm not that worried. I guess I can just save the second Awakening in my hand. You don't need to be too picky with how you sequence here because the game is pretty over. But I do think it's probably correct to not get super greedy and not leave and not have the counter magic in your hand. But now we get to ultimate the Teferi, Valakut Awakening my opponent's entire board, and then win with whatever we want, which is probably just going to be Kaheera. And this is the GGs. Not making me click through it. Yeah, good night, sweet prince. Okay, 3-2 the Practice League. We beat Mardu midrange, Grixis Shadow, lost to Blue-Red Storm, which is probably like one of the worst matchups you could run into, and then lost to Blue Moon, which is also really bad. And then beat Green Tron, which is pretty medium. I do still feel like I feel pretty good about like Jeskai Lotus Field as a metagame call. I would honestly feel better about it if I like had decided to take, if I decided to like grind the, if I had decided to grind the trials today, right? If I had grinded the trials at the convention center today and gotten like 2 buys, then I'd be feeling a bit better going into this weekend with 2 buys. Not like, you know, a much lower chance you run into some more of the fringe decks. But I think I'm still feeling good about the choice. It was a pretty agonizing week this week choosing. Details and has wider applications outside of this deck. I think it's a fine sideboard card, yeah.